Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to a very special transfer podcast. It's an AI Pro Plus podcast. I am joined by Domagoj Kostanjsak. Hopefully I said your name right this time. Dom, I've been practicing it offline, but we're recording now, so hopefully I got your name right, Dom.
No, that was good. No, I'm fine with that. You did a good job. Thank you for that. Thank you for trying.
I'm not the best at names, Dom, but now that I can call you Dom, it's easier. Dom, you're a sports journalist, opposition analyst and scout from Barca Football at Substack, which is great. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for choosing to talk to me.
No, we are going to be talking Arthur Melo. Obviously, that is our main topic. So let's crack straight into it. When did you first hear of this player, and was it when he joined Barca? Because obviously, Barca is your main area of expertise.
Yeah, it's my bread and butter. Yeah, well, the thing is, I've heard about Arthur just before he joined Barca. And when those first rumors started circulating, I was like everyone else, I was really excited. And I was like, I have to see what this player is all about. And then when you see clips and you watch some footage, and I was really impressed. And to be honest, I really thought that his career at Barca would be much longer and more successful than it was. But, well, here we are now. But yeah, that's how I first heard about it, I guess.
And then when he joined, what was the fee that I think Barca paid at the time? It wasn't too high, was it?
No, it wasn't that high. I don't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't a ridiculous fee.
It wasn't a ridiculous fee, was it?
No.
How was his time at Barca then? I think he was only there for nearly 2 years, just over 2 years.
Yeah, it was lots of ups and downs, to be honest. It started off quite good. The players kind of took well to him. Even Messi was the one who said that he was very surprised about Arthur's ability. And the comparisons with Xavi were kind of a bit far-fetched. Maybe it was too early to say that he was the next Xavi for Barca, but at the same time, you could not really argue that the ability that he has and the skill set and the traits and the profile of the player, it did kind of fit the whole narrative of him being the Xavi successor at Barcelona. And maybe had things panned out differently, maybe he could have been much more than he was. But at some point, Barca kind of realized that despite all of his qualities and despite all the traits that make him quite good, actually, he wasn't exactly what they needed at that time, profile-wise. So I think that was the point where they realized that we'll just cut our losses and we'll just look for someone else, someone different.
So what did you make of him as from a style of play perspective? You know, what were his strengths and what were his weaknesses when you watched him play?
Well, Arthur is a ball recycler. He is a press-resistant midfielder who will keep the ball and guard the ball. He will retain possession at an insanely high level. It's difficult to dispossess him, and if he has the ball at his feet, you probably know that he's not going to lose it. That's one of his main strengths. He is very clean in the first and the second phase of possession. So when you need to get out of pressure and when you need to build that attack from the middle third of the pitch, he is your man. He will set it up. He will make sure that everything runs smoothly. He is very agile. He turns really well. And this is where the press resistance comes in. And this is why people have been comparing him to Xavi, because, Xavi can turn a player easily before when he was playing, he could turn a player easily and then progress the ball. And that's what Arthur does. He will receive the ball deep. He will shake the defenders off, the markers off, and then he will progress play either by carrying the ball, just passing it brilliantly. And I feel like that's something that Barca look for in midfielders. But the thing is, just now, Xavi especially wants his midfielders to do different roles. He wants them to be more adventurous, more even physical, I would say, maybe more aggressive in their approach, and wants to attack the box, attack the final third through the half space. And this is where I feel Arthur kind of doesn't fit as well anymore. And that's why I don't really see him as a Xavi's Barca type of midfielder anymore. But for Liverpool, it might be a different story.
Yeah, I think I've heard a lot of people say, there's some similarities to Thiago as well. Would you agree with that? Obviously, we already have Thiago, which is amazing, and we love him. But I think the only thing I would say is maybe Thiago's a little bit more. He's got that attack nature. He's got that attacking nature as well. He's more saucy. He's got does those special skillful things that you're just very rare on the pitch with Thiago.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I can see the similarities. It does make sense. Maybe not at that level, of course. Thiago is a very well-rounded midfielder, and I feel like Arthur doesn't have that edge. He's not so. Maybe defensively, Thiago might be a bit better as well, and this is where the aggression off the ball comes as well, not just in pressing, but just pushing forward as well. Arthur doesn't have that. The physicality is something that he lacks. Definitely lacks. Right. It doesn't have to be like a deal breaker or anything like that, but if he can just match or maybe show a bit more of aggression and more tenacity in his approach, something that Thiago does so well, I think that the lack of physicality won't be such a problem. And then there's the attitude as well. I mean, if you can mold Arthur to be an elite professional, like if his head is in it all the time, which is something that I feel Liverpool usually do really well. They kind of identify players who are mentality monsters at some extent, and I feel like Arthur is not really there yet. But if he can keep his head and kind of do the work and do a bit more of work than he's been doing so far, I would say even he should be fine.
Do you think having players like his national teammates alongside him is going to help him a lot? He's got Fabinho, who he plays with in midfield for Brazil. He's got Firmino there. He's going to have Alisson there. Tafarel's even the goalkeeping coach, who obviously he would have met as part of the Brazil national team as well, who's the goalkeeping coach there. So do you think that'll help him settle really quick and maybe give him that kind of, I think he just needs to settle somewhere, it seems like to me. He's been moving around every 2 years. He just kind of needs, and maybe this loan, it's a loan option, but there is an option to buy. So if he plays well and he proves himself, I think it's an opportunity for him, isn't it? Yeah. At a top club, at a team that's going for Champions Leagues all the time, to say, right, if I make it here, they will keep me. It's his chance, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is. I agree with that. On his national team teammates being in there, I agree, because whenever you have a foreign player coming into a team, it can be difficult for them. It's not just the language barrier; it's the culture, it's the whole environment that kind of affects them. And this is the part that people often forget about, the psychological part of a player. I mean, at Barca, for example, there's always that kind of weight of expectations. It can kind of bog you down, and players who are much better than they appear when they step on the pitch for Barca, they kind of crumble because they can't handle the pressure. They can't really settle in properly. So I feel like having someone to rely on, someone who will immediately welcome him. I'm not saying that the Liverpool players won't welcome him. It's just that having someone who he can instantly talk to and click with, that might help. It's just that I'm talking from a Barca perspective again. When, for example, with Dembélé, he had his group of French players at Barcelona. He had Griezmann, he had Samuel Umtiti, and while that helped, it also kind of created a group that was kind of on the sidelines all the time. They would just keep to themselves. They wouldn't really interact as much with the rest of the team. So it's also important to kind of strike a balance where you have. Yeah,
they don't do that. They don't do that at Liverpool. They try to mix and match as much as possible, and that's part of why the cohesion and, like you said, the mentality monster stuff comes in. Hopefully, they fork him into that as well, and they make sure he does the same. And that'll be really interesting to see. I think also the pressure wise, there's always pressure when you come to Liverpool, but he doesn't come in with much pressure because he's coming in as a loan. Yeah. So the whole fan base is like, not even very excited. They're just like, they're just like, oh, he's alone. We're going to send him up at the end. But that hopefully takes a bit of pressure off him. And also the buyout clause, or the optional buy clause is what, 37.5 million euros. that's not very, very high. He went for 72 to maybe we'll get there in a sec, actually. Let's talk about that now, actually, that value.
Okay. Yeah.
What, I mean, it's being investigated, isn't it? The sale from Barca to Juve and then you getting a player back for 60.
Yeah.
What's your view on his real value? What do you think his real value was when he went to Juve? Was he actually 72 million? Do you think he was worth that? What do you think his value is now?
So prior to that transfer to Juventus, I really thought that he would actually stay. I thought there was no way that the Barca would actually do that swap deal, and in the end they did. And maybe 70 million. It sounds a bit too much. And at this point now, coming after the Juve spell, I would say that 30-something million sounds about right to me. Because as good as he is and the qualities that he has, his Juventus spell, it just wasn't that impressive to me. A lot of that has to do with the whole team not being as good as they used to be. They're not really functioning as a good team. They don't really have a proper structure or anything. So I think that in that sense, Arthur was kind of, when you're part of a not ideal environment, just put it that way, your performances will inevitably suffer as well. So I would say that being a 30-something million player at this point in time seems fair to me, and just because it's a loan deal, I don't see a downside to this deal for Liverpool. If it works out, you will pay for a very good player, and you won't pay that much. If it doesn't work out, you just ship him back to Juventus, and that's it. That's the end of the story.
What do you think of his injury record when he was at Barca? Was he injured a lot, and was there a lot of any news about that, or what he was like? Do you have any background stories about the player at all, or have you heard anything?
I think, I don't really have background stories, but I feel like, injuries do kind of, they pose a certain concern about the player. He'll fit right into Liverpool, right? When it comes to that.
The midfield is what we need to do is rotate them so that they're injured once at a time.
I mean, there's no way that all of them are injured at the same time, right? There's just no way. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure how to answer that question. Yes, there is an injury concern, but let's hope that he can kind of improve his fitness for Liverpool, because Liverpool are also all about that. They are all about having athleticism and having players who are at their physical best. So I feel like he will have to step up and kind of do the work. Klopp will make him do the work. I'm pretty sure he will.
Amazing. I mean, that's that. So you're saying that the value is there for 36 for the price that we might get. That's value. That's going to represent good value. And obviously, where do you think he could go? Like, if he does hit a level and settles in at a club, where do you think? What's his ceiling? How far can he go? What do you think is his talent? What kind of talent does he possess, and how far could he become a world-class player? Do you think?
Yeah, I would think so. I think that he has Thiago as his reference, and that's what he has to aim for. I'm not saying he will become as good as Thiago, but
is it good to have Thiago around as well with him, you think, at the same club? Like, really? I mean, he's probably they didn't collide, obviously, but Thiago was at Bayern at the time when he went to Barca, but obviously they'll have that in common, that they were both at Barca at one point and moved on.
Yeah.
So there should be a connection there.
Yeah. I mean, it's good because it gives you depth. That's one of the main reasons, especially in a midfield that's now very thin and just unstable fitness wise. So I guess it won't hurt. And Arthur will obviously, he won't really displace Thiago or anything. I wouldn't say, well, not at first, but who knows what happens. But
I'd like him in the same team. I'd like one left side, one right side. I would even hope, that they change shape a little bit and play Arthur and Fab as a two, if they can. And go with four up top, 4-2-3-1, something like that, if they can, with Nunez now. That's the dream, is that we buy a player. And does he fit that type of role, though? Can he play different roles where he's, he can play as a 6 with Fab, so they have a double pivot, and then play as a right-sided, left-sided midfielder? I mean, is that something he can do?
I wouldn't Yeah, I wouldn't really put him as a 6. Well, not in a single pivot at least. Maybe
No,
a
not in
double
a
pivot.
single.
Yeah. Maybe a double pivot. Yeah, would work. He is. Well, maybe the left center midfielder role would be ideal for him. It kind of feels like that's the less physically demanding role for him, and that's where Klopp would kind of put him, because that way he doesn't have that responsibility of kind of needing to be that dynamic between the lines, midfielder who has to push forward, that has to be aggressive, both in and off the ball. So I feel like if he's just that main recycler, first / second phase type of possession retainer, I can see him do really well in that role. Yeah,
that's what we need. I think what we're missing is that left-hand side player to be a little bit like Ginny was. Just hold that position, be disciplined, not roam out of position and just run up the pitch. At the moment, we got James Milner just running and trying to be a striker, at the same time. And then Hendo does the same on the right, which
exactly.
To be fair, on the right side, it is a more attacking role. We are playing with Elliot, we're trying that right side mid is trying to be a bit more attacking, which is fair. But that means that the left-sided role really needs to be as disciplined as possible. And that's something that hopefully Arthur can do.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've said the right side midfielder has completely different roles to the one on the left. And Arthur doesn't really fit that right side that much because he's not that aggressive. He's not that, doesn't have that edge or bite that a right side midfielder at Liverpool would have to have. So I feel like the left side suits him best. Yeah.
So this might work out then for us. This might actually work. There's some method to the madness. It's not a panic buy. It might actually be something that works. So that's really exciting for me, because something that we needed to do. Now, yes, there's injury issues, or there could be, but if he's playing once a week, instead of twice a week, he's always rotated with a player. We've got plenty on the left side. Hopefully Naby Keita comes back in because he's not been sold. So, we've got Naby Keita for the left side. We've got Curtis Jones there. Now we've got Arthur as well. And then that frees Thiago up to go and play with where Elliot plays, and let Thiago go there. Elliot rotate with him. We've also got Carvalho as well. Fabio Carvalho. So it just expands that talent pool a little bit more. And in the next 10 weeks, I think we've got a stupid amount of games.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy amount of games. So we really need the players. So hopefully he can handle being rotated, playing 60 minutes to 90 minutes a week, by coming on, starting a game for 60, getting taken off, then coming on for 30 in the next game. And he can continue to do that. And that would actually represent good value for us right now. We just need that body, don't we? We just need that body that can be quality, fit into the team, and just do a job. That's what we need right now.
I think so, yeah. And good thing you mentioned that 60 minutes or just 30 minutes, because if I remember correctly, he did struggle with stamina at Barcelona. At least we thought that was the issue, because he kept getting subbed off before the end of the game. It was always like around that 60-minute mark, I think, 70-minute mark. He would always get taken off. And I feel like it could be a stamina issue. So just dosing it correctly in regards to injuries and stamina could be the most efficient way to use Arthur. Yes.
Perfect. That sounds good to me. I don't really have any other questions on Arthur. I really hope that's everything. Is there anything else you could tell us about him, or do you think we've covered everything?
I think we've covered mostly everything. I think you're getting, at the end of the day, I think you're getting a wonderful player. And the fact that it's a loan deal, there's always a chance that it doesn't work out. But if it doesn't work out, it's a loan deal. And I feel like there are not many downsides to this. So just that's my conclusion. Superb. I'm really happy. I hope that's how it works out. I was dreading a negative outlook on him, and but at least there's an acceptance that he's a really good footballer, and that if the crowd sees that at Anfield, I think they'll be just all over him. Do you want to tell the listeners where they can find you and your website as well? My website is Barcafutbol. If you like Barcelona, if you like tactics, that's a good place to to find some of that goodness. Hopefully you like what you see. I'm on Twitter as well at the Kostanjsak. I'm not sure how it doesn't really. It may be better if you just spell it out somehow.
We will be sharing. We'll be sharing you on Twitter. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll be sharing it. We'll be sharing
Yeah.
the podcast so people will be able to follow you.
Thank you. Yeah, and also I've written a book on Lionel Messi. It's called Anatomy of a Genius: Leo Messi's Tactical Evolution of Barcelona. Yeah, it'll be coming out in October, on the 3rd of October, to be more precise. It's already available for pre-order on Amazon and all the other.
So, have you spoken to him for that, or is it
No,
just your view?
Sadly, no. I've spoken to many big profile people, but not to Leo Messi. Hopefully, I can get the book to him, though. I'm still working on that.
That would be amazing.
So fingers
Do you
crossed.
have any? Do you have any? Can you tell us who you spoke to, which type of people you spoke to, so that we could get people excited for this book for you? Of yours?
Oh yeah, I spoke to Sid Lowe, I spoke to Graham Hunter, I spoke to some of the journalists.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I spoke even to some of the people from within the club, from La Masia and stuff like that. So it's going to be, hopefully
Let's have a quick chat about Messi. What do you think is happening right now with him? Because this is always an interesting conversation before we go.
Yeah,
let's talk, because it's about your book. And will people be able to find it on Amazon?
Yeah, you can find. Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can find it.
So what do you? I mean, the way it ended, pretty sad.
Yeah,
At Barca.
Yes.
Literally couldn't afford to keep him more than anything. That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Because I think if he stayed there, he'd still be producing that level of football. You know, I think there's a little bit of him coming back this year. Last year was a proper settling in period type thing. He's only been at one club all his life, so it must have been tough. But what are your thoughts on him at the moment?
The thing with PSG was mostly they've been just using him wrong. I mean, they've been using him as a right winger who starts out wide and who's not as close to the box as Messi should be in this stage of his career. So it's not really about Messi not being as good as he was. It was just Messi being a part of a very dysfunctional system that did not really look to optimize his skill set, and that's what you get. Messi he's still a wonderful footballer, and I feel like
greatest of all time for me.
Yeah, to me as well. I have no doubts about that. Obviously, people will always discuss that, but yeah, it's the thing with Barca and Messi was, I keep saying the separation was needed. It needed to happen for both of those, both parties. I mean, for Messi, I'm not sure, but for Barca to evolve and go back to, to what they were, it needed to happen. It's just the way that it happened is what's the most painful part of the whole story. Just kicked out of the back door, with just a press conference, and that's it. It was really, really tough and a tough watch. And I'm not sure. There's many rumors now, saying that Barca will go after him again, just give him that swan song, just that final year at Barca, maybe before he calls it a day. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure.
It would be very nice to close the story with a
I guess so.
With a league win or a Champions League win before he leave. Hands up his boots, and those stories sometimes do come true. Who knows? And I hope they do for you guys. And I can totally understand what it would feel like. I mean, he's the greatest of all time. One of our greats, when Gerrard left, he left in a similar fashion, and just kind of out the back door did something, and also the team was really dying when he left, and he left in such a sour way. Like we lost 6-1 to Stoke City, like, for God's sake. So we feel your pain. Obviously, yours is probably at a higher level. He's Messi's Messi.
Messi. Yeah.
But folks, if you're really interested in reading this book, please do follow Dom and take a look and purchase it and have a read. If you're one of those, that would be great. Thank you, Dom, for coming onto the show. We really appreciate it. And at short notice, thank you for giving us some content. We appreciate it. Let's see how Arthur does, and maybe we touch base with you later in the season. If he's really doing awesome, you can come and tell us what you think again.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. If he doesn't, though, we just forget about this.
No worries. Thank you so much, Dom.
You're welcome.
We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.